Welcome to the Three Principles Global Community webinar. The Three Principles Global Community, or 3PGC, is a nonprofit organization that is committed to bringing an understanding of the three principles as introduced by Sydney Banks to people throughout the world. And today we're so happy to have Marina Galan. She's a Three Principles coach, mentor, trainer, works all over the world. She's been such an amazing leader in bringing the three principles into the Spanish-speaking community worldwide. And she's also on the 3PGC board. And with that, Marina, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, thank you for that lovely introduction. I love it when they don't read my bio and they just say whatever comes to their heart. It's so much better every time. And I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to be here with you today, guys. I know that you were expecting Rob, but he had something come up, and so here you're stuck with me now. And because everything was very last minute, and I didn't really have time to, think about a topic that would be meaningful for me right now in my life, although I can think about a few. But I think Rob's topic, living through principles-based life, sounds quite interesting because it kind of opens up the conversation for whatever is happening and broadens the spectrum of the possibilities. And as much as I like pinning it, to one experience or another experience, and I find that always takes me deep. I believe that broadening the spectrum and realizing what it actually means to live through principles-based life can be a miraculous thing to explore. And I remember the first time that someone pointed out the difference to me about the difference between the human capacity for insight and how we could, use it and call on it and ask for it and open ourselves to it and surrender to it, and living an insightful life. And to me, the main difference revolves around the fact that we can know that we have the possibility of insight. We can know that we can go to it in times of desperate measures when we've tried everything and everything has failed. Or we can actually understand that the capacity for insight is the most wonderful, powerful tool that is available to us 24/7, and that living from that space transforms your life into a miracle, transforms your life into resting in the most beautiful feeling and trusting life and the universal intelligence of mind completely to hold you, support you, and guide you towards your best possibility, moment to moment to moment to moment. So in other words, we don't have to wait to be in a difficult situation or have a problem or feel stuck in something in order to, oh, okay, I just remember that I have this ability for insight, let me use it. No, we can actually live from there 24/7, regardless of whether life is being difficult, easy, beautiful, horrible. regardless of what it's actually looking like. And I think we often, I mean, well, that when I am going to talk for myself, I think I often make the mistake of saying, well, living from this understanding surely must mean that circumstances get better. And it gets easier. And it's important to, I think, from the point of view of a teacher, from a point of view of someone that tries to share this understanding with other people, to make it very clear that is not on the table. So a life of absolute ease and beauty, and no, that's not on the table. This understanding is not a vaccine against being human. It's not, it does not exempt you from being human. It does not exempt you from life and circumstances and difficulties and you know, stuff showing up. What is on the table is the possibility to radically change your relationship to circumstance. It is not on the table to control experience or thought or feelings, but it is on the table to radically change your relationship with thinking, thought, experience, feeling. And I love that is enough. I love that, realizing that changing our relationship to that is enough. I've been teaching this for a few years now, and I still find myself, and I still find people that have been teaching this and living from this understanding for a long time, and one way or the other, we are still innocently trying to manage our experience, and innocently trying to manage our feelings, and innocently trying to you know, make it better one way or another, instead of allowing experience to flow through us, allowing feelings to flow through us, allowing our system to do exactly what it was designed to do, you know, open itself up to feeling, thought, experience, everything. It seems to me that when we do that, when we allow ourselves to fully feel, so we change the relationship to our feeling, you see, and then we stop being scared of it, and we stop trying to change it or manage it or micromanage it, or when we just allow ourselves to feel, I am convinced that our system gets information from the feeling, like absorbs information for the feeling that the system needs, that we cannot decode rationally, intellectually, but that the system needs somehow. You know, if we understand that our feelings are a live, real-time feedback system in which the wisdom of life speaks to us, it would be then viable to say that feelings is the language in which life speaks to us. Yes? Like that is the way the universe speaks to you, through feelings. And I love realizing that there is a language, but we are all desperately trying to decode it rationally and explain it intellectually. Oh, I am feeling this. It must be because of that. It should be because of that. And da, 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 da. And no, it's just another language. You know, it would be like trying to decode color with your ears. Like, you can't do that, because that's not how it works. So you're not supposed to decode feelings with your thinking. Like, feelings is just a different language. And when we allow ourselves to feel, then we get all the information that life is bringing us. And our system is designed to absorb that information and use it wisely if we allow it to. But if suddenly we grow afraid of feeling and we reject our feelings and we resist our feelings, all we are rejecting is information. That's it. That's all we are rejecting. Sacred information that the intelligence of the universe is trying to bring to us to help us in our journey, to be a companion in our journey, to lift us up, to open us up to possibility. And so living a principles-based life, to me, is really surrendering to the beauty, the perfection, the wisdom of the original design, and allowing myself to work in alignment with that design. And that implies not rejecting any part of that design. That implies surrendering to the perfection of the design. I was in the 3P UK conference last week, and I was sharing about grace. And I found this quote that I really, 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 really loved. And it's so simple, but listen to this. Listen to this. So here's what it says. It says, extraordinary gifts cannot be given unless they are received. Don't you just love that? And so it sounds to me like life is bringing all these gifts all the time. Thoughts, feelings, experience, beauty. But we have to be open to receiving them. We have to be willing to receive them. If we are up in our heads wondering, do I deserve this? Am I worth it? No, I am not. How could this possibly be mine? Something must be wrong with me, or even if we are just distracted by our thinking instead of being present to the beauty of the moment. the beauty of nature. I mean, look at Tracy. She's sitting outside. Look at the trees behind her, right? I don't know what she's hearing. I don't know if she's hearing the wind through the trees or the songs of birds, or she's feeling the sunlight on her skin. I don't know. But aren't those all extraordinary gifts being given freely already? But are we receiving them? Are we in surrender mode? Are we present? And if we turn to the capacity for insight and new thought, it's the exact same thing. It's already there. It's already given. All you need to do is quieten your mind. And then wisdom will show up. And it will bring a new possibility. And it will bring a better possibility. No, that is the promise that Sid Banks makes. A better possibility must appear. Do you know why a better possibility? Because the possibility that the universal intelligence can think of will always be better than the one we, with our tiny little human minds, can think of. So every time we give up our tiny little idea of what would be perfection, and we renounce it in exchange for the unknown to us, then life says, let me bring something precious. Let me bring something beautiful. Let me bring a new possibility that is more aligned with the truth of who and what you are. That will lift you up and raise your consciousness and open up your heart to make it more possible, more capable of love and compassion and understanding and acceptance and grace. So what does it mean, living a through principles-based life? It's that simple. It's just living in alignment with what is actually true, beyond my beliefs, my opinions, my thinking, my preference, my noise. Living in alignment with what is true, with what is possible. For us as individuals, but also for the whole. Because if each of us is lifted up, the whole is lifted up. If one of us is lifted up, the whole is lifted up, right? You cannot affect a part of the whole without affecting the whole. So when we surrender to the beauty and the perfection of the design, we are affecting ourselves, but we are affecting the entire universe as well. And so living a principles-based life, living in alignment with the truth of the design, is in fact living your true purpose. Living your highest possibility. And the best thing is that you don't need to make sense of it rationally or intellectually. You just have to feel it. That's enough. I was having lunch with a friend of mine today, and the waiter had a tattoo across his neck like this, which I find a little bit creepy because I don't know, it's you cannot not see it, but it's like, okay. But the tattoo said, with kindness. And so I asked him, why did you choose those words? And why did you tattoo them on your neck, across your neck? And he said, well, because I'm a waiter and I want people to treat me with kindness. So the first thing they see when they look at me is with kindness, and then they know how to treat me. And I thought that was so interesting, because I said, well, anyone could do that. It's not because you're a waiter. Anyone has the right to ask for kindness. But then, so I had a conversation with him, and I told him, when I saw the tattoo, the first thing that occurred to me was, whenever I speak, I will speak with kindness, because it is across your neck. It's like it has, whatever comes out, it has to go through that filter of with kindness. And so we had this beautiful conversation in which he was telling me, well, if I am bringing kindness to the table, what am I going to receive in return? Of course, kindness. I am already experiencing the kindness that I am bringing to the table. With kindness. And so it seems to me that when we get distracted, we are too obsessed with outside. We are too obsessed with the results and the outcome and how we are going to be seen, judged, perceived, what our work will look like, what our proposal will feel like to others. Will it be good enough, exciting enough? Will it attract clients or not? It's like we're just distracted with outside instead of being focused in what we are bringing into the world, what we are birthing into the world with our thoughts, with our words, with our actions. And so this come from, yes, where are your words stemming from, coming from, originating from? Where are your thoughts coming from, stemming from, originating from? From a space of kindness and gratitude and openness and or from a place of judgment and fear. And so that is what we are bringing to the table. And understanding the beauty of the design, understanding the perfection of the design, implies understanding that what we bring is the only thing that matters. Because then, if we are coming from that space, if we are coming from that good feeling, if we are aligned with that truth, we can trust whatever occurs to us to do, whatever occurs to us to say, whatever occurs to us to share. It's as simple as that. You take care of yourself. You take care of your good feeling. You take care of your come from. And if your come from is aligned, you can forget about everything else. And you can trust that you will be held, supported, and guided. And how do you know? Because you feel it. Because the universe lets you know that you are aligned because you feel it, because that's the language. You see? That's the language. Mind you, then I noticed that the waiter on his right hand had written outrageous, which made me laugh. And then we had a different conversation about that. But again, you know, what are you bringing to the table? And speaking of tattoos, I'm going to tell you a funny story. So many years ago, many years ago, I was in a program. This was before the principles. I was in a program and we all had to introduce ourselves. Okay. We had to say, you know, a little bit about where we were from and why we were there and etc. And there were like 60 people in the room. The woman that spoke right before me was completely covered in tattoos. And the way she introduced herself was, listen to this. I have tattooed on my body every bad experience that I have had, so I will not forget the lessons. And I thought, oh my God, that is so clever. This shows you that this was before the principles. Yeah. Because in that moment, I thought it was so clever, because then you won't forget the lessons. Yes. And I thought to myself, well, that's what I do. Every time I have learned a lesson, I have picked up a stone. Wherever I have found myself, whenever I have learned something, I have picked up a stone. And I had a huge stone collection, as you can imagine, right? So anyway, right after this woman speaks, and I need to get up and I need to present myself, speak myself into the room. The first thing that occurs to me to say is, well, I am really glad that it never occurred to me to tattoo every bad experience on myself, because I would be completely black, like there would be no space left, right? Like, forget it. You would not be able to see me or any facial expression. But I do have a very large collection of rocks. I mean, come on. And that stayed with me over the years, you know. And every time I see a tattoo, I think about that. And it's like, isn't that interesting? Why would someone choose to print that on, to print anything on themselves in a permanent matter? Like, I really would like to understand the process behind it. And I have had many conversations around it. But by far, right now in my life, the worst idea is to remember the bad experiences, right? Like I cannot think of a worse reason to do it than that one. Mind you, of course, not long after I learned the principles, I threw away my rock collection because I realized that I really didn't really need it, because whatever lesson needed to be learned was already integrated, and I didn't need the rock to remind me of anything. And I didn't even need to remind myself that the lesson was integrated. I didn't even need to remember the lesson. I just needed to be mindful of the feeling. take the responsibility of my come from, of where I am. And that feeling takes care of who I am being at any given moment. Like right before coming here to talk to you guys, I was talking to another friend whose father passed away recently. And this is so interesting. So his father passed away recently. And today, the mother of his two girls announced that she's getting married to this other guy, right? So he, my friend, he is working through the relationship with his father, given that he has just lost him and the relationship was difficult. And so he's just coming to terms with himself being an orphan and not having a father. And now life is cornering him into, okay, now you need to decide who you are going to be as a father, because there's another guy coming in to be another father figure to your kids. And so come on, let's get it going, right? And he was going out of his mind. He was telling me, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I don't know. And what kind of father do I want to be? And how do I want to be remembered? And do you see how he was looking outside at the results and the outcomes? And instead of saying, oh, hold on, if I only take responsibility for being in a good feeling, I will be exactly the father that I need to be to my two little girls. I will be exactly the son that I need to be to my mother. And I will be exactly the brother that I need to be to my brother, to my two sisters right now. You see how simple that is? We don't need to figure it out. We just need to make sure that we're okay. And then you can trust everything else. You can trust the process and whatever comes out of it. Just make sure you're okay. And yes, sometimes circumstances are really, really demanding and really challenging. I have been blessed enough to spend the last week with one of my brothers and my sister-in-law and my niece, who will turn 2 in October. So she is in that stage in which when she wants something, she yells really, really loud, and she demands it now. And if she doesn't get it, she runs to you and she takes you and she grabs you. And I am looking at her mom and her dad. Those circumstances are challenging, and they take a toll on you, and they wear you out, and they tire you, and of course they do. And I am so filled with compassion and with love and I can only call it grace for them and for her, for this little girl that is also doing the best she can. But at the same time, I know that they know that if they only take care of where they are, if they only take care of their come from, if they only take care of their feeling, they will not only do okay as parents, they will excel as parents. And I see them taking responsibility for that. And I am in awe, in absolute awe of just how beautifully responsible they are where they come from. Given this little tornado of a little girl. And that is what a principles-based life looks like. It looks like you being beautifully, gracefully, sacredly selfish and responsible for your own well-being. Because that is the first step for the design to work, okay? To work in your favor and everybody else's. So simple, no? So simple. No worries, no expectations, no judgment, nothing. Just a good feeling. Just gratitude, just kindness, just all, just gratitude. I mean, look at Jamie Velasquez there. Look at that painting behind her of that woman kind of dancing with the flowers. Look at all those plants behind her and all the colors. There is so much beauty. Look at your faces. Look at your smiles. It is impossible not to feel gratitude when you make yourself present. You know, I used to tell my little kids when they were tiny, if you are not happy, you are not paying attention. You know, it's that simple. If you're not happy, you're not present. And that struggle that you're feeling is the call to presence. It's a reminder of presence. It's a reminder of grace and beauty and openness and possibility. And that is enough. And that is the first thing that came to mind when I thought, well, what does it mean for me to live a principles-based life? But I would love to hear what you guys feel that a principles-based life could look like, what it is to you, what your experience of that is or has been. What does life become when you live from the perfection of the design? I'm not in a hurry. Yes, Marina Galan, because I don't know who you are. But you appear as Marina Galan. Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, hi.
Marina Galan.
Jana. This is my sister-in-law, the one I was just talking about. And her name is Jana. So here we are. Hey, Jana.
So nice. Thank you. I don't feel like I deserve that. You obviously haven't seen seen me on a bad day yet.
I think I have. I think I have, but there is such grace, Jana, in the way you come back, in the way you catch yourself, in the way you recognize it. And it's miraculous to watch. It really is. Thank you.
She's so lucky to have an auntie like you. Wow. That's all I can say. We're all lucky. Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you for bringing it back to the feeling. I love anytime the feeling is mentioned. I feel my whole body relax, my mind relax. And it's like, oh, I don't have to do any work. Like it's just easy. It's simplified, beautiful. I love the feeling that it brings me to just bring it back to the feeling. It just makes life so much simpler. And I feel it in my body even. Just relaxing, opening, surrendering, and my mind kind of, calming. Because sometimes I do try, like, I get into my mind trying to figure out what's being said. But yeah, the feeling just brings me back. Thank you for mentioning that. And I think it's it's something that I want to, well, we'll see. It just makes parenting, I think, a lot simpler.
It makes life a lot simpler, yes.
Life in general.
Yes, but
Parenting's been a real subject for me lately, as you know. And kind of struggling to like, oh, what's the best way? And you get so much advice, and then things pop up on my phone about how to be a good parent. And I just love so much, trusting the feeling. When you're in a good place like that, that's wonderful. Thank you for the reminder.
Thank you. Thank you, Jana. I was, as you were speaking, I was thinking, how do I feel when I give a compliment? An honest compliment to someone, which I love doing, by the way. I love it. I love just walking down the streets and giving compliments to people because I see them, because it's true. How do you feel when you give a compliment? Isn't it beautiful? And it's so easy. And you can compliment the plant behind you. And you can compliment sunshine. And you can compliment the birds singing, yeah, you got that tune beautiful today. Isn't that a feeling that you would want to live in? Just appreciation. And isn't it a beautiful feeling to know that you are also being witnessed and appreciated by life? And maybe the bird is saying, yeah, you are rocking the outfit today. Look at that swing when you walk, right? Like, we don't know, but what if that's it? What if the mosquito buzzing in your ear at night is telling you the secrets of the universe? Yes. Hey, Lena.
Hello, Maria. I really love when you say, if you're not happy, you're not present in the moment. And I am in the fire now, but even when and if I'm in the fire, I can always be present and kind. I go to the hospital all the time because I'm very, very sick. And it's so much easier because I can, most of the time, I'm in, I don't know, I'm calm and peaceful, and sometimes my intellect scare itself and then it goes away by itself. But when I'm meeting up in my life, when I'm shopping and I'm kind and I'm smiling, I can really feel that the vibration around me goes up. It's so funny to see. Yeah. That
Yes.
people can, yeah. So even if you're in the fire, and I love that topic, I've heard it for many years ago, and it always stayed with me. So
Oh,
thank you.
thank you, Lena. Yes, even when you're in the fire. You know, I was in the hospital today as well. I went to see physiotherapist because my whole left side feels like crumpled paper, and it's really uncomfortable. So I went to the hospital to see the physiotherapist, and you know, he asked me to take my clothes off and stand, and I could hear the voice in my head, you know, oh my God, how am I standing? How do I look? Should I, you know, stand straighter? And he was looking up and down and around, and I was like, I should have worn a different bra. My teeth must look horrible today. You know, like everything in my head was going everywhere. And the first thing he said, well, the way your feet, you know, like you're supine. And I was like, I don't know what that means. Am I doing something wrong? And but I was on the verge of tears. You know? Like, I don't know what that means because my head was spinning so fast already. And then he said, no, that doesn't mean there's anything wrong. That's just how you stand. And I felt this wave of relief, you know, like, ah. And then I started paying him compliments. Deliberately, I said, I am going to pay compliments to this guy, and I'm going to see if he pays compliments to me. And he did. He did. So he started saying, you know, he was doing this thing on my knee, like ultrasound on my knee. And he was like, look at that tendon. That tendon looks beautiful. It's like a 20. I could feel, you know, like as he was saying those things, I felt the way my 1.5-year niece looks when I applaud to her when she dances or when she plays the drums, you know, like, yeah. And you can see how she lights up. I was lighting up because my tendon inside my knee looks like a 20-year-old, you know, even though my knee hurts like hell. It didn't matter. It didn't matter because my tendon looked beautiful. And it's so simple. And then he started, you know, touching me. He told me, I am going to touch 17 spots. You tell me which hurts. All 17 of them hurt. So when he finished, I said, all of them hurt. So he said, okay, I'm going to go to the 17 again. You tell me which one hurts the most. And I was having a blast. I was laughing so much, and it really hurt. It really hurt a lot. But the whole situation was so ridiculous. And this guy was paying me compliments, and I was paying him compliments. And it was such a beautiful moment, even in the pain. Even in the horror of being half naked in front of this man and feeling judged, and you know, there was so much beauty and so much possibility and so much kindness and so much grace, even in that fire. So yes, I completely understand what you mean, Lena. I completely understand what you mean. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thank you so much. I'm going to tell you something really funny. So in the last few weeks, I have become acutely aware of how of how worried I am in my dreams, and how in my dreams I am trying to solve stuff, right? Like what my mind wakes up when I am dreaming is problems that I need to solve. And I get so obsessed with solving them that I wake up and I'm like, no, 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 I have to go back to the dream and solve this. Which is ridiculous and absurd, but that's what my mind does. And so lately, I've become aware of that. And I'm having now a conversation with my mind. And I'm telling her, wouldn't it be nicer to just dream that you're on a vacation in Bali instead of making up that you have to solve this horrible problem in the world? Like, can't we just have relaxing dreams? Why do we need to keep solving things when we are asleep? And I realized that maybe it's just the way I've programmed it, right? Solve stuff. This is what we do. And so now every night before bed, I make an invitation, deliberate invitation to my mind to not make up any problems to solve and just enjoy the capacity for dreaming and make up something fun. You guys have no idea of how much my dreams have changed. It's uncanny how much they have changed. And so again, it's just the invitation, you know, like realizing, oh, I don't need to worry when I am awake, but I also don't need to worry when I am asleep and dreaming. So why would I? I can just trust that everything is being taken care of. And it is. You know, I'm in my bed dreaming. That's all. But the possibility of choosing that when I am actually awake. Man, isn't that a gift? The possibility of choosing to live a life aligned with the perfection of the original design. That will then fill your life with joy and happiness and a sense of purpose and awe and gratitude and beauty. And choosing it deliberately, shamelessly, being shamelessly happy. Even if it's not too polite, being shamelessly happy. Just because I can. And feed it all. Give myself the freedom to experience it all. Everything. Give myself the freedom to think anything. How does that feel? Doesn't that feel like enough? And what a beautiful feeling enough is. Thank you, everyone, for being here. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much, Marina. And before we say goodbye, I'd like to tell everyone about the next time, and it will be 3 weeks from today, July 22nd, 2 p.m. Eastern, and it will be Natasha Swerdloff and Steve Adair speaking together.
What a treat. What a treat.
Yeah. So join us then if you can. And in the meantime, we wish you well, and feel free to unmute yourself and say thank you and so long to Marina and each other.
Thank you, Marina.
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Take care of yourselves, you're beautiful beings.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. See y'all next time.
See you.